Welcome to the Help Her Be Brave podcast show, where we have great ideas on how you can help save lives. I'm Amy Ford.
And I'm Jessica Russo.
And today we're going to be talking to our very own Wendi Jenkins with Embrace Grace. She is, I'm kind of partial because everyone on our staff is like so amazing. And so she's just awesome. And she has, she's over our Echo Tribe. And so in our Echo Tribe are like there's a group of women around the nation that contact our leads, people that are interested in starting Embrace Grace groups. They reach out, you maybe fill out the form online. And so then our Echo team calls back and answers any questions and stuff. So she's over all of them and she's on the phone all the time, just inspiring people to start groups. And she's the best at it.
She really is.
And she leads a group herself. So we're going to have her on today. Hey, Wendi, are you there?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
We love you.
Yes. All right. So we kind of just gave everyone a preview of who you are and all of that. And so we are just so thankful you're on the dream team. And so why don't you just start with your story and just how you even got connected to Embrace Grace?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. So I was a young single mom. I found out I was pregnant at 17. And for a 17-year-old, that is huge. My daughter is now almost 22. And God definitely showed me a lot about who He is and deepened our relationship through those years. We were just a family of two for almost 5 years. And, being a single mom is definitely hard, but we were able to see God come through, and I was personally in such a tremendous way. I tell people that although I was saved at 10, my family life just did not resemble a Christ-like family, and I fully surrendered to the Lord at about 22. And so I am living proof that God can use a baby to save our lives and transform our lives. And so I found out about Embrace Grace almost 10 years ago. I was at a women's conference, and the Lord had really been stirring my heart to minister to women who were in that season that I had seen Him really the most. And I just didn't know where to start. It can be a little overwhelming, but it was actually at a Pat Layton conference. Someone had asked me to come and be a small group leader at our church. And they announced that we were thinking about starting Embrace Grace. And so I was like, sign me up. And we got to go tour the Gateway Southlake campus and see how a night of Embrace Grace ran. I just started my 17th semester leading an Embrace Grace group. And I tell people all the time, it never gets old seeing what God can do in the lives of these ladies.
Oh my goodness. Love it. Yeah. And I love that you have walked this road before. And so the way that you can speak into these moms is just so, it means so much to them because they can see that what God's done in your life and have that hope for themselves, and
you see them.
Right. Yeah. So, I know you lead the Echo Tribe of the Dream Team, you lead an Embrace Grace group, and you're on staff. You're kind of all in, which I love it. So with leading Embrace Grace, tell everyone about the Embrace Grace program and what has been your experience in leading a group.
Yeah, I would love to. So, well, I tell all of my people that I get to talk to on a daily basis that Embrace Grace does make it really easy to lead out in this ministry. There are women like yourselves that have walked before us, that have paved the way. And so it really is like a big, huge family, and we get to glean from each other, spur each other on. I mean, I've prayed for people that I'll never even meet and I know people that I'll never meet have prayed for me and my ladies. And so that is phenomenal. And I will say too, just because my heart right now is for leaders. That's kind of where God has put me in, is empowering leaders, because I know that we have 1,000 reasons why not to jump in and start a ministry like this, but God is able to do it without us. But what a privilege that He invites us in to get us, like you say, a front row seat to miracles, see babies being born, lives restored and transformed. It is quite amazing.
Yeah, I agree. We have front row seats to miracles
Yes.
for sure.
Every day.
Yeah. And so tell everyone a little bit about the program of Embrace Grace.
Yeah, so I'd love to. So Embrace Grace. So when you lead an Embrace Grace group, you sign up for 12 weeks of walking alongside of these mamas. Really just, I tell people don't know that you care until they know that you care. And so sometimes these women are very guarded. We get a lot of young ladies that have either never stepped foot in the doors of a church or have been wounded by the church. And then, of course, we do get some that are within the walls of the church. But I tell people at the very first moment that you get that positive pregnancy test, the enemy of our heart starts to lie to us. And so we have the privilege as leaders who have gone before them of saying, hey, I did this, and here's what God did for me, and here is what He's done. My favorite thing is to see women when I start to share my story, because y'all, it's got some stuff in it.
It's got some grit in there.
It's got some stuff. That they need to know that they aren't alone, that this isn't something that's going to tag them out of the game. Like, God can use every bit of our story for His good. And so my favorite night in Embrace Grace is Breaking Chains night. It is where we've walked with these ladies for 10 weeks and really talked about some hard things in our lives, but we've introduced them to their Savior and who He is, what He really says about them and their babies, and that He is for us and not against us. And so that night we encourage them to really think about some strongholds in their lives, some things that are holding them down and holding them captive, and then say them out loud, because when we say them out loud and we bring it into the light, the enemy no longer has power over it, and God can use it. And so that night we encourage them to drop those burdens at the foot of the cross and never, ever shackle themselves back up to those strongholds again. And so that's kind of a snippet of Embrace Grace. I do love Embrace Life too. And I think sometimes we tend to spotlight Embrace Grace and let's spotlight Embrace Life, because I was part of the test group when we started Embrace Life. Our girls at our church had gone through Embrace Grace. They had found a safe place, but they weren't quite ready to join a Bible study or a small group at their church. And so we were like telling you guys, give us more. And that is definitely what you guys did. And Embrace Life is amazing. I've been a young single mom. I always tell people the fun part is like leading up to, you get the baby shower and all of these wonderful, nice things. But the hard part is when baby is here, maybe baby daddy is no longer in your life anymore, and you are really just trying to wing this for as much as you can. And so I love Embrace Life because we teach, we extend the conversation about our identities and about Jesus and who He is, but we also teach like real life applications. Spending time daily in the Word, alone with the Lord, letting Him fill you back up, budgeting our money, meal planning, and all of those wonderful, amazing things. And then what I'm really excited about, that we've been praying about for a long time, is Embrace Legacy. I am super excited that is coming out, because we were seeing at my group, even dads coming, dropping mom off, and then we didn't have a place for them. And these guys are called to be the spiritual leaders of their homes. They are called to be the leaders of their families. And I am super excited that we now get to help set them up for success as a daddy. I remember one time, one mom being like so upset with her baby daddy, and just like wanting to just count him out. And man, I do get that. I do completely understand that. But one thing that God has taught me in my relationship with Kaylee's father is that he's just like he's not finished with me. He's not finished with baby daddy either.
Yes.
And he is going to be working on their hearts too.
Girl, preach.
So true. I know. We can't,
God loves them both. He wants to save both of their hearts.
We need more dads in the world for sure.
We're on a mission to equip churches across the globe to provide single and pregnant women with emotional, spiritual, and physical support. You and your church can be the answer to their prayers. You can help her be brave in her choice for life. To learn more about how your church can host an Embrace Grace support group, visit www.embracegrace.com.
I've spent some time with one of your moms a little bit. That it was years ago that she was in one of your groups at a different church a while back, and she just how she spoke so highly of you was just so awesome. And she said that she was a completely different person than when she went through Embrace Grace, and that there was a big transformation. And I remember specifically there was a class that she missed because she really needed to pick up a shift waiting tables. And so you went the extra mile and said, let's meet and I'll catch you up on this class you missed just one-on-one. And she said that was like a moment that changed her life forever, that one-on-one time that God kind of worked it out, that you got to have even special time with her for that class. And it was really there was a chapter on sin, and it's a little bit more further along in the semester. We prepare their hearts first. I saw a quote, and I wish I could remember exactly. I just posted on my story yesterday. It was like, you have to give grace before you give truth. Or something like that. It was a Townsend quote. And it's so good and it's so true. Like, we can't talk about sin the first class because they'll be like, I'm out,
Well,
they got to know how loved they are.
Safe space and trust and like mutual respect in a relationship where you can speak bold, firm truth to them.
Right. And she knew she was loved by you, Wendi. Like, she knew. And so when you weren't calling out any of her own sin, you're just talking about sin in general. And it was like a revelation that she had never put together before of these decisions that she had been making, and then the patterns that it was creating, and going to something that was never going to give her life, but yet she kept doing it. And it was like a light bulb. And and when she tells the story, I just was like blown away, because she said that moment, which was like over a year or two ago, I don't know. I mean, she's like, my life still to this day. She said, I messed up one time in one specific area that she really felt convicted about over the last 2 years. And she said, and I am staying true. And I know that where my joy is in staying, having a pure heart for the Lord and all of that. And so I was just so amazed. And she was one of your mamas, girl. So awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I'm not surprised by that at all.
Amazing.
You make everyone feel loved, Wendi.
Yeah, you do.
Well, I think one of the things for any type of leadership that you're in ministry is full transparency.
Mm-hmm.
Full transparency. I was broken, and here's how God fixed me. Yeah. And I think when you do that, and that conversation was, I was hesitant. I was like, Lord, this is going to be so awkward. But all he ever requires of us is a willing spirit. That's all. Mm-hmm. That's all we have to give him. And so he can do it. And he did. And he changed her life. And that time that she called and she said, I messed up, because in especially in the life of a woman, we have a performance-driven kind of attitude of, I need to make sure that I get X, Y, Z before I can do A, B, C. And that's just not the way the Lord works. That's just not. And so when she called me that night, I was like, this doesn't surprise the Lord. It's not surprising him. He's already made a way for you to come over it and to be transformed by it. And now that she gets to share her story, and she gets to share grace and truth and mercy, now she's leading her own group, and she's doing that on her own, and that's incredible.
I know. And I loved that when she did have a mess up, she felt safe enough to call you and, you know, to just share like this is what happened and that you met her with grace and love and so the Lord and so awesome. And I'm just so thankful you're on our team. You're just amazing. And if anyone's listening out there, you know, we kind of highlighted Embrace Grace. That is for single and pregnant young moms. Embrace Life for single young moms, and now Embrace Legacy for single young dads. And even if you don't feel like maybe you have the time to lead a group, maybe you just want to help get it started. Maybe you're the launching pad and to go and network within your church and find people that might want to lead the group. Talk to your pastor and try to get it going and seeing if he even knows someone that might want to lead the group. You know, you could be someone that kind of gets it going even in more churches. We have a few volunteers that are doing it like in their communities. We were just in Florida last week, and there's this guy named Reggie. Shout out to Reggie if he's listening.
You are amazing.
He's amazing, and he is in Southwest Florida, I think, and he has gotten, I know, at least 4 churches started, but I think possibly even more because of so many phone calls, conversations that he's had, that he just has a heart to like have Embrace Grace in churches all over his area. And so he's doing he's boots on the ground. He's out there doing it. And we saw him at this, we were in Florida last week for a Luncheons for Life and got to see him and thank him in person for all his hard work. So maybe you can't, you know, get out of the house as much right now. Maybe you have a little one at home or whatever, but phone calls and emails make a huge difference. And said, you know, have you heard of this ministry? I really think that your church or our church should start this. And also just letting your pregnancy centers know in your community, you know, that they can partner with us as well, and that they can refer their clients to churches in their area that have Embrace Grace. And so there's lots of ways. And even also with Embrace Grace, if you don't have time, there's opportunities for volunteering. If you connect with an Embrace Grace group in your local area, you can go to our website, embracegrace.com, and put in your zip code, and all of the groups that are in your area pop up with that leader's information. You can reach out to that leader and say, you know, I can't lead, but I would love to help in some way. I'd love to buy gifts for your next baby shower that you do for the moms, or maybe serve at a Princess Day, which is kind of a cool thing we do in Embrace Grace. And they have a hair team and makeup team come and help them feel beautiful on the outside. And then we have a full course meal, and it's just amazing night that's more towards the end of the semester. But maybe you want to serve food, or maybe you are a hairdresser and you know how to do updos or do makeup. There are lots of opportunities to serve in Embrace Grace. But the Lord might be leading you to start it and lead it yourself, and that would be amazing. And when you do, you get to talk to Wendi and her team. And
I
awesome.
Just want to give a shout out to the leaders too, that God has been wooing your heart. And I know that because I get to talk to a lot of women that don't feel qualified, but it is God that qualifies us. He empowers us. You don't have to have an unexpected pregnancy story. You don't have to have story. You just have to love these girls and be in it for them. And I love the scripture that we may make our plans, but the Lord directs our steps. All He asks of you is to take that next step in faith, and He will provide the rest.
So true. So good. Well, Wendi, thank you so much for being on today. I'm going to throw out embracegrace.com. If anybody's interested, you can fill out I think it's the Start a Group tab, and fill out that information, and an email comes to you immediately with like a sample chapter, and then our team will follow up after that with you to answer any questions you might have. And there's also more information as well at prolovechurch.com. Either one of those websites has lots of ways lots of information about Embrace Grace and our initiatives that we're doing with the church. So Wendi, we so appreciate you coming on today. We love you.
Thank you, ladies. Love you guys.
All right. Bye.
I love that Wendi's testimony and her walking obediently has inspired other women to use their testimony to free and heal other people. Like, that's so amazing. Like the power of obedience and the multiplication that God gets to do when we just lay it in His hands. And she said something to me. I wrote it down while she was talking. She said, People don't know that you care until they know that you care. And like how simple and powerful that is. Like the proof of you caring just breeds trust and authenticity in the relationship. And that's where like breakthrough happens.
Yeah, she is pretty special. And I know she has inspired many, many groups to start.
Oh my goodness.
Kind of good at her job. So thankful she came on today. If anyone's listening and you're interested in starting an Embrace Grace group, definitely check out embracegrace.com. Or if you're not sure what you want to do in the movement, go to helperbebrave.com. There are lots of ways to access ideas on how to get involved in the movement. There's my book, Help Her Be Brave, Discover Your Place in the Pro-Life Movement. It has over 300 ideas in the book. And then also check out our quiz. You can take a little quiz, and a custom idea list gets emailed to you immediately after you take it, and it will be something catered just to you. So check all of that out. Also, be sure and share this podcast with your friends. And we are both on YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify, so you can listen or you can watch it, whatever your friends prefer. But please share our show, subscribe, and leave good notes in the comments and all of that. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you have any other ideas of who to have on the show, please reach out through helperbebrave.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.